Hello and welcome back to our Witcher campaign. I am your storyteller, game master, story guide. So there's a specific word for this, but out here on the Nomads we call ourselves navigators. So, uh, I'm your navigator for tonight's campaign slash chronicle slash story. Gilbert Ramos, aka Ramos Nomad on all social media. I am CEO and founder of Rolling Nomads, and tonight we have a very special story for you, as we do every time we play Witcher. So, without further ado, and enough of my ramblings, let's jump into the people you actually came here to see, our players. And we'll begin how I see things on screen, from left to right. Let's begin with Mioka.
What's up, everyone? My name is Edge, or Edge Survival, or Edge the Nomad. I do HR things here on the Rolling Nomads, and today I'll be playing Nyoka, your Viper Witcher.
Excellent, Thank you so much for being here. Happy to have you. Going over to our next. Let's continue on with Cersei.
Hi, I'm Luna, or Druid by Night. You can find me at Druid by Night on most social media platforms, including on Twitch, where I stream. And for this game, for this time zone, I will be playing one Cersei Aveline, R2's trained sorceress.
Absolutely, you will. Thank you so much for being here. Always a pleasure. Let's move over down to my bottom left and start with Visha.
Hello, everyone. I am Larissa Rave. You can find me all over the internet as such. But this evening I will be playing Visha Kamari, the alchemist mage.
And thank you so much for being here. Always a pleasure. Let's round us off, cap it off, however you want to call it, with Kura.
Hello again, everybody. I am Warren. I have no fancy titles. I'm just a dude. If you want to find me, I'm everywhere at the Demons Within. And tonight I will be playing a Witcher from the Griffin School, Kura. Let's get shit done.
You sure will. Thank you so much for being here. Always a pleasure. With our cast having been met and no further announcements having to be made, let's go ahead and jump into today's episode. We begin each episode as we always do with a recap. Now, for those of you who watched Bloom and Blood, and for those of you who have watched previous chronicles or stories that I've ran, Bloom and Blood was the outlier. I'm going to call on people for this for recaps. And today we have a volunteer, a lamb to the slaughter, if you will. Cersei, if you kindly.
So last we saw our heroes, we'll call them. The day started late in the afternoon, with Cersei awaking next to Elodie, Visha and Kura awaking in the guest house, and Nyoka already having awoke far earlier. Everyone's hangover was palpable, except for Elodie's and Nyoka's. Speaking of Nyoka, he had gone on a little side quest to visit the nearby cemetery, where he cleaned the grave of somebody he once knew and perhaps loved, speaking tenderly to it as if recounting his adventures over the last several years. Oliver, Cersei and Elodie's ward and employee, was given Visha's bag by Visha the previous evening and was very distraught in wanting to return it. And he ran into Nyoka in the city. They exchanged pleasantries, and Nyoka gave him the okay to return it when they returned back to the manor. New knowledge was added to Cersei's mysterious book that she acquired way back when, and it is the ritual to summon the demon Ianashe, a name that is burned into Cersei's mind and subtly tempts her to continue to look into the ritual, although she promptly shut the book and locked it back in its lockbox. After breakfast, and everyone spoke of love and adventure, of what cannot be lost, else there be consequences, a minor lord by the name of Evard Besat came to Facine Estate and demanded that Cersei essentially allow him to profile her guests, particularly the two witchers that he was accusing of being there, and take them on the grounds of Emperor Amir's bounty on witchers. After not backing down, he sicked his sellswords, his tax collectors, witch swords, onto the witchers, and all hell broke loose as Nyoka went into a whirlwind to defend Kura. Kura stunned Lord Besat with the Axie sign and continued to defend herself from the guards as well. Visha performed a spell to choke Lord Besot after Cersei had gotten Oliver off of Besot's horse as he was holding him hostage. And after most of the sellswords were dealt with, and Lord Besot lie on the ground choking, Cersei gave him one last chance to surrender and to forget that this all happened and that we could all go back to our everyday lives. And after determining that he was lying about such a thing, Cersei delivered a killing blow to him as she said, "I need to protect my family from you." There was one last sellsword who we bought the silence of, and that was essentially where we left off.
Excellent. Thank you so much for the recap. Expertly done. This is where we find our heroes now, sort of on the cusp of their cleanup job, making sure that everything is squared away. I turn the scene over to all of you as you have just finished combat and released one of the only survivor of this assault on the vineyard. The story is yours. Please.
Right. Visha is going to... She's going to search Besot's body for anything of worth.
Understood. Right off the rip, he has a purse of coin and a number of rings that he wears, as well as like not necessarily a badge of office, but a golden and gem encrusted sort of necklace that drapes over his cloak and shoulders.
She's going to take the coin, but she will leave him with his jewels and his, label of station. And then put her hands on her hips as she stands up and goes, "Right, well, we need to move the bodies."
Cersei is looking down at Besot's body, and she slowly looks at her dagger with the blood on it. And I think she drops it and takes a step back. What have I done?
Okay. Was that your first?
Yes?
Okay, all right.
Your first one.
The first man I've killed in cold blood.
Okay, all right. She's gonna walk over to Cersei and gently grab her hands and just kind of turn her away from the body and says, "Why don't we go inside and we'll get some tea ready, and the others will handle this, okay?"
What? What?
Nyoka.
I need to speak to Oliver. I need to speak to Oliver and Elodie. I need to fix this.
Okay. Oliver is in the house. Elodie, and she looks around for Elodie.
Elodie's eyes are fixed on the one that you guys have let go. She's walking back up the laneway from cutting down one of the runners. She kind of looks to all of you and says, "We're letting that one live."
You should really probably kill him too.
I'm sorry that we brought this trouble to your door.
It's not your fault. You're my guest. She'll collect her dagger and sheath it. I need to fix this.
I'm going to lead Cersei away back into the house where I had told Oliver to run. And as we're walking, I'm going to say, "There's nothing to fix. Love, he's already dead. And he was threatening you. He was threatening your family. You've done nothing wrong."
He was still a lord. He still was important. So I need to pen a letter. I need to make sure that this is not going to blow back on Oliver or Elodie or our business. I need to make sure that no more come and
All right. You pen a letter. The bodies, we will get rid of them. That they won't be here. Why don't you make sure Oliver is okay? He's had a day.
Yeah. I'll do that.
Okay. And she's not good at like the physical affection, but she will put like a comforting hand on her shoulder, and watch her walk off. And when she's, properly in the house, she'll turn back around and go to the group and say, we'll go to Elodie actually and say, you have a wagon?
We have a wagon.
All right, we'll stack the bodies in there and then portal them to the tower.
She nods. Begins to kind of clean up the space as well.
That is really like closing the eyes of the dead and kind of gathering them back up together, making them look a little bit more proper as best she can. And just putting them all in a row so it's easier for us to transport them, but doing it as respectfully as possible. They were just following orders after all.
I'm throwing bodies in the wagon.
Understood.
Kura, I don't know what happened there, but after all those hours of training, I really expected more.
Yeah, me too. I don't know what that was. At least the sign worked.
Yes, the sign did work.
The rest of it, I don't. No clue.
Elodie, do you intend to let that one get away?
I do, but I'm going to be watching him very closely.
Well, I guess prepare yourself for whatever blowback that's to come of this. But I am sorry for bringing this to your door.
To our guests, it's only right and just that we keep you when nobody else come to our doorstep.
Is this something that's known? This edict against the Witchers?
We
Well, then it won't be the last.
no one is ever so bold as to pursue it. Imagine the good that the witches can do when they come to town. They only come to town for a specific purpose, and those that they visit have bigger problems to deal with.
Yes. Right. Well, you might want to check on your wife. She is not doing the greatest right now.
She nods, moves to go speak with Cersei. As Nyoka, Kura, and Visha ready the bodies for transport. Cersei, where did we find you? You wanted to check on Oliver.
Yes, Cersei moves into the home. She's trying to keep it together, but she's clearly trembling at her hands. And she vaguely remembers what door he ran into, so she goes into that door and hopes to find him.
He's sat down. When you find him, he's poured himself a glass of wine. Spilled a bit on the table, on the small little table that he set everything on. Shaking. Kind of staring off. As you enter, he kind of eyes dart toward the door. And you can see that they go less wide when he realizes it's you.
Sweetie. She'll cross the room to him, sit down next to him.
Are they gone?
Yes. Been dealt with.
I'm sorry, I just went to get his signature on a few pieces of paper, and they blocked the entrance. They blocked the exit, and they asked me some questions about our house guests, and I I didn't really know what to say. So they decided to come to the source, I suppose.
Not fair to you. I'm sorry.
No, I was just doing my job. And they insisted.
Are you okay? Are you hurt?
I'm alright, aside from a bit of bruising, but
Where? Let me see.
shows his wrists, where he wasn't tied up or like bound in any way, but you can see that there's light bruising around his wrists, where he was grabbed or forced to get on the horse, dragged away.
He'll hold his arm tenderly and examine it. You're okay. That's good. I'm so sorry that happened. They won't hurt us again.
How can you be sure?
Well, they attacked our guests, and our guests defended themselves.
Oh, our guests, are they, they're dangerous people, aren't they?
They're witchers. Danger dogs at their heels.
This is who you traveled with before, though. This is what you did. This is what your day-to-day life was like before a vineyard.
Nod. I understand if you wanted to leave. I would set you up with everything you needed.
To leave? Why would I wish to leave?
I don't know. If being around me is dangerous, being around us brings trouble, then you don't deserve to deal with that.
I am woefully ill-equipped to venture out on my own. Forgive me, the shock of being taken and being a captive is I don't wish you to equate it with disgust for you or Elodie. I'm amazed that I was always amazed that there was no real security. Yeah. Put me a little bit on edge, but there was always a sense of safety. And I see why now. It's just I'm not in fear of you, Miss Aveline. I'm in awe.
Oh. I'm just glad you're okay. Kind of push his hair out of his face.
He lets his hand rest on yours. And he's young, Cersei. He's just a boy, venturing out on his own. Just a young man. This is a boy with no magic, likely no skill in the sword. Should he ever become powerful, it will be because of his coin and his word and his name. He, depending on his own choices, but with the start you're giving him, will not have to fight with a sword and to carve out a piece of the world for himself. He'll be able to buy one, to talk, to barter. What does this bring up for you as you have these realizations?
A sense of pride, which is weirdly placed amongst the guilt and the shame. Cersei, after the transformation, even before, Cersei always knew she was never going to have children. But what she remembers herself hearing before she entered that fugue state, is the best way she could put it, is that she has to protect her family. I think a weight, not heavy, but much more like a blanket, settles on her shoulders as she realizes that she views Oliver much more than a ward or an employee.
Indeed. The door opens once more and Elodie joins you. Your friends are gathering a cleanup. Wanted to check on you, see how you two were doing.
We're okay. Just shaken, but okay.
She begins to look over Oliver, asking the same questions that you did, checking his wrists. You can see the same protective nature wash over her. She sees the bruises on his wrists, and you can see a flash of anger. She checks him over, never letting a hand leave yours. And once in a while during her checks, she gives a reassuring squeeze, just letting you know she's still there.
There's definitely still that tremble, but between holding Elodie's hand and kind of grip, not trying to covertly kind of grip the side of the chair. She's trying to hide it.
Do this. Outside, bodies are gathered. Is there any conversation between the three of you as you make preparations?
I think Visha looks over at Nyoka and says, "You traveled with her before." She's never killed anyone.
She killed plenty of things. Creatures, monsters.
Ah, but never a man.
Mm. Nowadays, men seem to be the most monstrous things we encounter. So, but I guess maybe it's different for her.
That I think
Yes.
we can all agree.
Well, it's something she's gonna have to get used to. The rest of the
Yeah.
world isn't like this place.
It's interesting.
What?
Yeah. But, I guess I don't fully understand. She's been spending the last 10 months, however she has known Elodie. But taking the life of, I guess, this noble affected her so much. It's interesting.
Mm. Yes, it's different, I think, than facing down monsters with brutal faces. Having to look in a man's eye when you drive the knife through. She's lucky. She's never had to do it before, but I hope she can take solace in the fact that she did it to save her family. There's no better reason.
I can't agree to that.
Nothing else. We can help her come to terms with that.
We can try. But part of that
Exposure.
is- Mm.
Exposure is the easiest way. Or at least that's how I was taught. Perhaps I shouldn't help. I don't.
Yeah, that's also a good way to kind of kill most feelings.
Mm. She'll be alright. She's just got to not let the guilt get to her. Easier said than done for some. Strikes me as a person who has a lot of heart. She told me earlier that her purpose is to help people. She, I think, will come to find that sometimes the best help you can give is on the end of a dagger.
With that, you may rejoin your companions, Cersei. As Elodie tends to Oliver.
So Cersei will say before leaving that she'll need to speak to Elodie before we leave. But she'll go back outside.
By all means.
She'll go back outside and check on everybody else and see how things are going. She's walking out a little steeled isn't the right word, but feeling a little better. But I think after seeing the blood on the ground, it kind of hits her again and tries to look away from it.
I'll leave the scene to all of you.
Visha will walk over to Cersei and kind of peek at her and say, "You alright?"
I'm fine. Oliver's fine. Just shaken.
Yeah.
I see everyone is collected.
Yes. I figured best bet is for us to take their bodies to the tower. Not leave them here.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
what is the plan with that? Are we just taking them, or do you plan on using these?
Oh, aye. Bodies make great fertilizer.
I figure we should probably allow the coroner and Basat's family to keep him and bury him. It would look better in terms of, a self-defense argument.
If you were sure, that weight will fall on Elodie to deal with if you leave him here.
Yes, but I imagine some people knew where he was going. That's mostly why I think that.
You'll have to forgive me. I'm not versed in those customs. It's a great wide world. The man knew he left, who said he didn't get attacked on the way. But I will heed to your counsel. If you think it would be better, we'll leave this body with Elodie then. The cell swords, though, we'll take those.
Definitely. GM, since you're back,
Yes.
would I make a deduction roll to determine what would be the better course of action with Lord Evard's body?
A deduction roll?
Yes, please.
I'm gonna say there's probably a better skill for it. Let me look real quick.
As you look, I'm gonna say this. The last time I killed a noble, they sentenced me to prison. Though I'm a witcher, so perhaps it'll be easier on you all.
Who'd you kill?
A noble.
Right, who's got a name? Or do you not remember?
It started with J, I believe.
Right. Visha kind of smirks at that, but it's like a hollow smirk, because Visha remembers every single name of people she's killed. But she smirks. Well, as it is self-defense, and you have Oliver who can testify that they unlawfully were trying to, what's the fucking word? Detain him, could work in your favor.
Yeah. That's my thinking as well. Though you both raise good points, I'll speak with Elodie about it and we'll finalize the decision before we leave.
Right, well, as far as I'm concerned, we're all ready to go, so you let us know.
Okay, I'll pack quickly and we'll leave before... We'll leave at twilight. How does that sound?
Fine with me.
Sure, you'll be ready. You can take all the time you need.
Oh, don't say that. I'll drag my feet too much. I don't want to hold us up.
For your knowledge, I was incorrect. There is no... I don't think of a better skill for this role. Cersei, by all means, deduction.
Okay. 15.
What are you looking at this from the perspective of? When you say what is the best course of action, do you mean strategically, politically, in terms of safety? What is your viewpoint as you look into this? Because depending on the viewpoint, you yield a different answer, if I'm being absolutely honest with you.
Okay. Well, safety is paramount. No, don't want to get anyone tried to be arrested. Well as that would work out for them. But politically, that way the business does not suffer and Elodie does not have to tend to this for days on end.
So politically is more of the concern.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is the best course of action politically. Depending on how obstinate this man's family is, this could be a continuous bout and continuous fight. And depending on how they want to interpret this or how they want to run this, they could spread rumors. There's going to be blowback regardless, but this is better than just trying to make off like a thief in the night, hiding the body and being like, I don't know where he went. He never showed up here. When there's now 5 missing men that were essentially sell swords to a bank. You know, that story wouldn't really hold a lot of water for most people. That would lead to a lot more rumors. With this, they're going to be levying insults, most likely.
Okay, and then I have another question as a thought pops into her head. And I can roll magic training if I think that would work if you required a roll. I have a hex called the Odious Hex, which essentially, mechanically speaking, lowers the social standing of a person. Now, could I cast a powerful enough hex to lower the social standing of a house?
Of a house?
Of a group of people, essentially, that are tied together.
I also have this hex, and the idea is that you can essentially ruin the person. Them being a noble, it might, like, almost like an AoE effect, might blow back on their family as well.
So to argue for that, would not lowering the head of said house be the most effective way to lower the family standing?
Essentially.
Just throwing that out there.
And to argue against, no, I'm just playing.
You'll get it. No good. If you don't.
So yes, this is a single subject. Even with Visha having this as well, it would be targeting a single subject hex.
Okay.
However, I'll give you the same train of thought. That Kura spoke out. The head of the family would probably be the best, or at the very least, keep in contact with Elodie and see which members of the families are causing problems, and then you can cast your hex.
Yep. I'll do that then. Cool. That's pretty much where my questions end. As she's kind of really thinking and the gears are turning in her head, she nods as she finalizes her decision. And then absconds and goes to pack. She does her best to be quick, but she is like me and wants to bring lots of stuff.
Understood. You wanted to have a conversation with Elodie. Before we get to that, so transporting the bodies. Let me make sure I'm getting this timeline correct. Are you doing that while Cersei's packing, or are you guys waiting for her to pack and then all go in one group? corpses and
We're
all.
all gonna go in one group because Visha's idea is that between her and Cersei, they can hold the portal long enough to get us all through, and then deal with the bodies at the tower, as opposed to trying to travel around, the manual way.
Well,
with
you
a bunch
also,
of bodies.
I will say, have Wesrold if you want to gather things up now, get everything in, and then have Wesrold come get her if you don't want to wait for your stamina to reset.
I would say the biggest thing is that we're still waiting because we have gotten Cersei's final decision on what she wants to do. She was said last that she was going to talk to Lydia about it.
If Cersei's final decision is to have the body of the noble remain, then I will call on Westworld to essentially bring Cersei to the tower once she's handled her business with Elodie.
Understood. Is there anything from our Griffin and our Viper?
Really?
I'll just wait until whatever decision is made.
Understood. Cersei, you have a moment with Elodie as your friends make their preparations. And as you pack.
I think Elodie finds her with telepathy, moving clothes off the rack onto the bed to be folded into a bag. And as well, with her hands, she's gathering up her accoutrement. And when she sees Elodie come into the bedroom, she says, "How are you?"
It was difficult to see so much blood spilled.
Stop everything. A dress will fall to the floor and she'll go over to Elodie. "Are you okay?"
Alright. It was a test of exposure therapy.
And I mean, I think you did well.
You've trained the man. I didn't.
Great. I'm proud of you.
She nods.
You're going to be okay. I can stay another night. They could point the tower on the map and I can go myself tomorrow.
No. There is going to be blowback for anything that Lord Basalt and his family have left. I would prefer you not be here for it.
But that's not fair to leave it just to you.
I'm well equipped to handle these lords and nobles on my own. I've had many years more than them to practice my words.
You have very pretty words.
Are you alright?
No. I killed him. And I barely remember doing it.
There is a difference in the road you'd now choose to walk. Before you were thrust onto a path against a monster. When you take this next step, you go against men, my love. Powerful lords and nobles, even a king or a queen. You don't fight monsters when you leave here. Yes, a dragon is the end goal, Now you wage war with the world of men.
I don't intend to stab them all, so, you know.
Some deserve it.
Yes, but I don't know. It just feels wrong. It just feels like I should at least remember the choice that I made and
Well,
how
you
it
will.
felt.
You will. Might be faded now, but you will remember this day for the rest of your life.
Plenty of time to atone, I suppose.
There is no atonement. Urbasat was an asshole on his best day.
I can't argue with that. And he hurt. He hurt Oliver.
And he was going to execute your friends. Send them off to the Emperor for a headhunting prize. He was not a good man, Percy.
You're right. Well, done now. At least that portion of it. Would you like me to write the letter, or would you like to handle it?
Open it. I want you to focus on packing. You're going to a wizard's tower.
I am.
Try to focus on things that are positive. Think of what could await you there. I'm not trying to minimize your emotions about killing a man, but dwelling on it does not bring him back to life.
I'm supposed to be the one who tells you to think positive thoughts.
I have more experience with this part. As I said, when we started all of this, we will lean on each other, we will support each other's weaknesses.
She'll nod and kiss her briefly. Okay, I'll finish packing if you want to let them know that Basat's body will be staying here for the coroner. And I'll meet you outside.
Let them know.
I love you.
I love you. So keep them waiting.
And I will continue to pack. Trying to be quick. Gather clothes, makeup, components, and finally, the book in its lockbox.
Do this.
And when she comes out, she looks like a classic case of somebody who definitely is overpacking.
There's a couple trunks to be added to the cart, for sure. And however your companions feel about that, Elodie dutifully carries them to the wagon. Sets them there. Well, is there anything else that I can offer you before you leave?
No. However, when I am inebriated, I do get a case of sticky fingers, so forgive me. But it seems that some of your household items may have found their way into my holding. I'd like to return them. And she pulls out the
There's candlesticks,
the
there
flask.
are little trinkets, there's flasks. Now I will say this, Cersei, as this happens, you don't recognize a number of these flasks. These look like these are from maybe your guests. As you, Elodie, and Oliver don't really keep a flask.
Yeah, she just starts placing them on the cart. And let me be clear, there's no guilt on her face. But she's just like, I feel like a shithead if I walk out of here with all this shit. So she, will take, she takes it all out and kind of just is like, sorry.
She,
Don't know what came
So
over.
sorry. I thought I had a better eye on her. God.
She picks up one of the flasks. It has, again, a rough cut, a rough, unworked sapphire embedded into the front. It's a circular thing, silver, and with little filigree engravings across it. And she holds it up and says, "This was given to me by the first prince of Temeria long, long ago."
Oh, well, it's a pretty flask. I have no excuse. I was drunk and it looked pretty. I like pretty things.
I'm just looking at Elodie.
Cersei, you know that's bullshit.
Yeah, I know.
And again, there is no guilt on Visha's face. It's more like for the principle of the thing that she's returning any of this. But she's like, well,
Tired. Just
She,
done.
Elodie, kind of doesn't really scoop things up, but she's kind of moves the cloth of the table closer towards her, moving the things closer toward her. She says, "I'll be see that these things will get returned to their proper place in the home."
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Thank you for your honesty.
you got it. Oh shit! I never got to meet that lad back in town. Ah, well, there's always next time. Are you ready?
Quick logistical question out of character. The fox and the crow cart, are we bringing that as well?
That is what we put the bodies in.
Sick. Thought so. Alright. Just double checking. Alright. In that case, as ready as I'll ever be.
Great. LD, she'll give her a salute.
In the car.
I do want to say I do want to say something to LD before we depart. But I guess I'll try to make it more personal. Prying ears and all. You all don't need to hear this.
As you guys,
Now I want to hear it.
as you guys are finalizing things, moving, getting ready to cast the spell, Nyoko, you can approach Elodie, who's again looking at some of these flasks and kind of turning them in her hands.
It's a nice piece.
You should have it. It's better than the one you own in New Kelly.
Thank you. Since I've been back here, I've had some things to think about. And perhaps love is what makes us the most human. And the lack of it is what makes us so monstrous. Just make sure while she's away, you stay as human as you can. And I say this in the most genuine, non-threatening way he can, though it could easily be taken however, with the lack of emotion that he displays. But there is a look of contemplation as he says this.
She kind of looks at you and says, "In her absence, I will remain as I have been. And if I do not, there are 2 witches now that might have something to say about it."
Yeah. Well, hopefully it doesn't come to that.
Let's hope.
I'll make my way back to the rest of the group.
Nyoka, you may add somewhere on your sheet that you have this this flask, this silver sapphire flask that reportedly came from the first prince of Tibet.
That's how legends are started.
Like ancient creatures bullshitting? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Before we leave, Cersei's obviously gonna go up to Elodie and just give kisses and whisper sweet nothings, give Oliver a big hug and say, please take care of her. Take care of each other.
Oliver smiles and says, "You do my best. I'll miss you, Miss Evelyn."
She just gives him a big hug and says, I'm going to miss you both so much. I will visit as often as I can.
Ollie smiles.
I think
and says,
that is. I was gonna say, I think that is when you, as the major, like hear the sound of the portal opening.
with a final kiss goodbye. Setting portal is a difficult spell to cast. Now, Visha, we've established already that you have, I think, just enough stamina to hold this thing open for one round, correct?
Yes, sir.
Understood. You all must rush through, and it is a tight squeeze. We keep calling it a cart. It is a wagon that sleeps 3 people comfortably. So it's a tight squeeze through this portal. And as you kind of bump through, who is driving? Out of curiosity, just getting through the thing, getting through the portal. Cool.
Images are fine. Okay, go ahead.
Nyoka, you have to duck down, and you kind of scrape against the sides of the portal. It's weird. It's like scraping against sides of scraping wood against wood. But you emerge on the other side, and it's you get through. You squeeze through. It's a quick thing. You kind of have to rush. With that, after everyone is through, with a final wave, Oliver and Elodie bid you all goodbye. Now I'll ask you this. Where have you emerged on the other side?
I think we've emerged on the essentially like the perimeter of the lands that lead to the tower, where you would be able to like see the path and then the tower just a little bit a ways. It's a bog, I imagine in the 10 months Visha has cleaned up a bit out here. It's not as gruesome as it was before. However, I do think, specifically for Cersei, given Cadfan's particular brand of magic, you can feel that still kind of lingering in the air. There is a darkness to this place, despite this, the perhaps setting sun in the sky. And it's, it smells like a swamp, really. There is, that earthy kind of petrichor scent in the air, the kind of heavy silence and fog that comes to this kind of environment. And probably every once in a while you'll hear like an animal or something splashing around because the tower itself is surrounded by water. But yeah, once we're through, she says, right, well, welcome to my humble abode.
And despite efforts of making this a little more homey, again, it is a bog. It is looking up at it, there is a sense of darkness, foreboding. It is a dark and foreboding tower that cuts into the sky, Cersei. This was Cadfan of Ebbing's tower.
Looks around, she looks up at the tower, and simply says, I'm honored to be here.
She gives a
Turn you
little...
around.
She gives a little shake of her head, actually, at what Kura has said. But, yeah, we'll proceed towards the tower. and lead everyone inside. Uh, Again, the tower is clean, but it is there. It's that chaotic. It's very like ADHD coded, where like there are piles of things everywhere, but the piles are organized. Like they each fit a category. So yeah.
The best description I think for this is in the midst of reorganization, it's as if someone's just moved in, where you have stacks of books and stacks of trinkets and things like that, boxes or crates of personal belongings, or in this case, components and interesting jars and things like that. I will say this along the way as well. Well, let me ask you this before I just make assumptions, Avisha. What have you done with Cadfan's more interesting things? There were hands in jars, there were synthesized creations, sort of corpse amalgamations, things that are in containers, sort of halfway completed, a combination of a bird and a sort of what looks like some sort of rodent variety that has kind of melted away, frozen in this this fluid, likely dead. But there are things like that were in this tower. What have you done with these things? Are these on display, or are these still in are these in crates and boxes, or are these cast out?
So those things in particular, the way I kind of imagine this tower is very much there are floors to it, right? And he had like a specific space for his lab work, and I think a lot of those things she had Kura and Yoka help her move those special items into the lab itself. So eventually Cersei will see those things, but I think just upon entering, none of that is visible. It just like scrolls and books and, things like that are around, but the special items are hidden away.
Indeed. The scene is yours as you enter the tower and see it is a ascending rings of floors. There is an orrery in the center that hangs from the top. Suspended, it is perhaps used to track the astrological signs or the stars in the sky. It is a true mage's tower. Reminds you very much of Aretusa. But there is again a darker feel to this. This place has a history. This place has roots that can't so be easily cleaned.
Right. Well, make yourself at home. Careful on what you touch. Cadfan was... Well, I'm sure you can feel it. So, just, be careful.
Of course. Where shall I be sleeping?
Oh, right. She will lead her to where there are quarters. I can't imagine that there's even too many. There's probably just a few, and then like Catherine's like master bedroom essentially. But she'll lead her to one of those regular spaces. Correct me if I'm wrong, ST. I have this this image in my head that like decor wise, it's all very rich in the way of like if you ever seen Howl's Moving Castle, you know how Howl's room looks, where it's just like stuff everywhere and it's just like, rugs and trinkets and all kinds of things. And I think every room kind of has that, where it's just, it's like maximalist, and maybe a little dusty, like maybe she hasn't gotten around to these rooms yet. But she will open one of the doors and say, right, you can stay here. If you need anything, let me know. But, yeah, this is it.
Thank you. This is lovely. I mean, I know you say it had a history, but still, I'm honored that you invited me into your home. Such a magical one at that.
Yeah. You'll have to thank Kura for that. I have a bad habit of not sharing. But, you know, Kura encourages me to be a little nicer in that regard, so.
You two balance each other, it seems.
Yeah, she's my better half, for sure.
She'll smile and set her trunks on the bed and say, I'm going to change really fast and then I'll be down.
Not a problem. And she will shut the door and go back down to where the rest of the group is. And with Cersei being gone, changing, Visha is going to go out to the bodies and start to haul them out. She has, I don't want to, it's a garden, right? But it's like not really a garden. It's where she's growing some of her more, poisonous things. And she grabs the two witches will see her grab essentially like a butcher knife, and will head out, and she's gonna start doing the dirty work and breaking these bodies up so they can be put into the dirt of the garden.
Understood. What are the rest of you up to?
While while Visha was showing Cersei the room and everything, Kura was unloading the wagon, all the rest of Cersei's trunks and the bodies, everything, just trying to get everything out of the wagon that didn't need to be there.
Understood.
I will be
Mm-hmm.
not helping. I will be in the library, where all the books and tombs, and posted up, and probably what Visha and Kura have seen for the last handful of months in a chair with his feet up, reading a book, the most recent book that he found on the Wild Hunt and the Elder Elves.
Understood.
Every once in a while, you will hear the sound of like a whack and flesh rending, because it's not quiet work, but you'll hear it as you guys are moving around in there.
Now, storyteller, as Cersei's changing and taking a moment to herself, did I notice that Visha hired herself out casting Standing Portal?
I think that with your training, yes. I think that it's entirely within the realm of possibility you would have noticed these things, yes.
Okay. She makes a note and heads down and just heads down, doesn't really know where she's going. She remembers the path to the foyer and that's about it. Kind of looking around, peeking her head in rooms as she's passing by.
Peek in these rooms. You find certain things, as we described, you find it's like as if they've just moved in, and you know that this again was Cadfan's tower. And you see some of the things that are remnant of its previous master. You see those strange synthesized creatures, the severed body parts, and amalgamations that were abandoned midway through. You see the darkness that came from this place. The experimentation, pushing the limits of magic and science.
There's definitely a look that crosses her face of... disgust is too heavy of a word, but it's a grimace. And, she just kind of shakes her head and keeps walking. She doesn't pass judgment on Visha, but certainly on Cadfan.
You do this. As we had said last session, you guys had woken up initially in the afternoon, taking the time to have sort of a brunch, and then dealing with these uninvited guests at Cersei's Vineyard, moving here and transporting yourselves. It's questing into the evening as the sun begins to set. What occurs here? Is there dinner had, or are you retiring after such a already busy day to your rooms?
I think once Visha's done, she will enter back into the home, and you can see like swamp water and dirt and blood. But she's like holding various pieces of armor and things. And she'll come in and she's like hefting it and will sort of plop it down. And you can hear her sort of muttering to herself, I have to clean that. I could probably repair that. You would notice that, like, almost in juxtaposition to Cersei's sort of guilt and what she is dealing with having to kill someone, that Visha is incredibly comfortable with death and essentially recycling what she can from it. I think it's a little bit of like an echo of Cadfin. Not as malicious or evil, but there is that. And you can see she's just like busying herself despite being a little bit paler. There's probably darkness under her eyes. A little bit of strain there from having done the standing portal, but needing to do something with her hands after everything that happened.
You do this.
Did you need help?
No, thank you, Noga. You're late.
Now
I've
you
already
offer
done
to
the
help.
work.
Carrying a
didn't see
trunk
you offering.
to Cersei's new room.
Well, sorry. Well, I'm here now if you need it.
Perhaps, are you all hungry? Perhaps we can put together a meal.
We have to put together a meal. We're welcoming a new guest into our home. What kind of host would you be if you didn't give her food?
Right. She like teeter-totters towards the kitchen.
Let me ask
and
you
can...
this real quick before you continue, Risha. What kind of... And I want to ask this of the group, actually. This is very similar. There's a GM that I have that asks a very interesting question of what people smell like. I would like to know what kind of food you guys go after. Are you guys... for each individual, the question being, do you go for quick food, like rations and jerky, things like that? Or do you prefer, having a sit-down meal of roast and potatoes and things like that? Are you a snacker, or are you a meal person? Do you graze throughout the day, or do you sit down for 3 square meals? Let's begin with Visha. We'll move over, and I'll call on each of you, just to get get some more information on you, something more personal.
Visha is of two minds. As her twin has said, she has a guest, so she is trying to make an actual proper meal. But I think on a personal note, Visha is a person who has weird habits where she'll make a meal and then she'll take her portion and then take a smaller portion of that. And I don't know if in the 10 months the Witchers noticed this, but she squirrels that food away. She hides it somewhere, as if it's like a leftover tick of, I don't know when my next meal will come, so I hide this here for just in case later. And even as she like prepares the food, she snacks a little bit during it, so that by the time it's done, her portion of food is infinitely smaller than everybody else's.
Understood. And Kura?
Whenever she can, she loves splurging, getting the fine meals. But most of her time she's spent kind of broke. So she will typically try saving money and eating whatever. But if she can, she's gonna go for the big stuff. Not no perpetual stew.
Understood. Nyoka.
Yeah, Nyoko is like a pescatarian of sorts. But given that we live kind of in a fucking swamp, yeah, no, not here. So, although he likes, kind of like Kura said, he likes tasty stuff. But he's not going to put the effort into making tasty stuff. He himself is very efficient and simple. And what satisfies him the quickest with the least amount of effort possible. So mainly salted meats, probably grain, bread. But given a time of leisure and perhaps the place he's able to, uh, fishing for his own meal and preparing a soup or stew of sorts, not perpetual stew, but yeah.
Understood. And then Cersei.
I mean, listen, guys. It's been a handful of months of luxury, and that is what Cersei is accustomed to. However, she does know how to make her own food. She does like to cook for Elodie and Oliver. It's nothing super fancy, but it's a home-cooked meal and it's nice, right? So, yeah, she definitely goes out of her way to eat a full meal 3 times a day with little snacks throughout the day.
Understood. And as you all make your way to the kitchen, following behind Visha, kind of reluctantly, again, it's that feeling again where you, oh fuck, we forgot to eat. We forgot to make food. We forgot to do dinner tonight. Your brunch was interrupted, so you didn't get a whole huge chance to really get a full meal of that. But as you make your way, you smell cooked meat. And you hear pots moving and cloth moving in your kitchen. And as you approach, you see Wezreld out of his robes, sort of in with an apron on and sleeves tied back, his hair obviously not enough to be cast in front of his face or anything like that, so no hairnet or tie back necessary. But he's cooked something and he's setting things off to the side. Right now he's fishing in a box. You guys would have seen it's sort of cold box. It's like the medieval version of a fridge, or it will not keep things cold indefinitely, but fishing something out of there, and he looks up and says, I heard you all arrive. I didn't have the time to greet you at the door. I apologize for that, but everything's I can see welcome, Cersei, Miss Aveline. I was finishing things up in here. I didn't know welcome home.
Visha comes forward and like her face looks no expression, but then she comes up to him, she pinches his cheek, and it's just like, oh, aren't you a doll?
There's a large sort of clay pot set on this wooden table. This wooden countertop, I should say. As well as a long pan that looks like it's also made of clay set out. And then he's fished out what looks just like a simple bowl filled with leaves and salads and tomatoes. It's a garden salad, essentially. He says, I didn't know the dining habits of our guest. So I've spent today and made something a bit more, a bit of everything, I suppose.
It's very sweet of you. Just like it was very sweet of you to let me hand off my bag to a man I don't know.
I tried to stop you. If you remember, you shushed me. You didn't even the simple shush. You you mushed my face.
She lets out a laugh, and she's like, I'm only kidding. I'm not mad. Thank you for the meal.
It wasn't even really your bag. It was filled with other people's things.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sirs.
Yes, the bag, but considerably more concerning was the amount of things in the bag. You kept asking people for a drink, and then when they would hand you a glass of the wine to be celebrated that evening, you would ask for something more personal, and then you would take this drink and begin to talk. So it was masterfully done. You'd ask for a drink and then begin a conversation with somebody else with their flask still in hand, and eventually they would just forget.
Oh, well, that's their fault, isn't it?
I've made a roast, and then I know that Yoko, you've had some trouble getting your favorites, and I'm not a soup person. I don't know how to make a stew, so I've made braised salmon as well, and assembled a sort of garden salad for. I don't know if you're a vegetarian or you choose not to partake in flesh, but sort of 3 options, or a bit of everything if you please. But I haven't had time to set the dining room, and I don't entirely know where we've placed the cutlery at this point.
He is just grinning at like at this behavior from him, but she will go over to what I imagine is like a woven basket that just has like cutlery and things in it, and she will start to fish out stuff for everybody to be able to eat. They're right here, darling.
I feel as if
Thank you so much.
Of course, I feel as if you shouldn't mix metals. I think one set of that is pure silver, and it's amongst wooden spoons. All right.
She's like holding a metal fork, and it's just like, I don't think that'll be a problem for anyone here, right? You're all okay with silver?
Fine by me. I appreciate the hospitality. I'll help set the table.
You all set this table. This mismatched bit of cutlery, silver and wood. There's a mismatch, a combination of things that take place here, things that don't quite add up together. As you set the table, the tablecloth doesn't fit the table itself. It's a bit too short. As well, it's a bit frilly. It looks like it might be made for a like a tea table, really. Something with less possibility of staining from pot roast or braised salmon. It's a mismatch of things. Conglomeration of things that shouldn't go together. Here they are. And you may all sit down for your meal. And Wesrold has crafted, as he said, pot roast, braised salmon, and a garden salad. It's decent. Pot roast is a bit dry, truth be told. And the braised salmon, the crust on it. Braised salmon is supposed to build a crust along the outer layer, but it's a bit burnt. Well, you can kind of scrape off some of the burnt bits, and then the core of it is good. Garden salad has no dressing, has no it's just a semblance of leaves and veggies. But a meal is had. You may all eat, discuss, if you so choose.
Yes. Now that we're all here, what is the plan exactly?
Well, My original plan was to kill a dragon, but that is not the plan now. So, eventually having to speak to it and try to reason with it. But as far as everything else, I intend on studying you. Both of you. I think for what's to come, there needs to be more witchers. There's not enough to fight the wild hunt.
I thought... Sorry. Were you referring to the plan in the long run, or the plan for the dragon and the nobles?
I was referring to both plans. Long term is the witchers. Short term, the dragon and the nobles.
So, dealing with the immediate threat of this dragon, we had discussed going to a town to try and at least get some reinforcements before we begin talking to it. Trying to talk to it. I still don't think it's going to talk to us. Just throwing that out there now.
Well, I did. Oh, I know we didn't have time to go over it given everything, but I did bring a book from my personal library regarding tales with dragons. So if that's anything to go off of, perhaps we can glean how to bargain with a dragon from there.
I think that's probably our best bet right now. And as with any creature of myth and legend, we need to make sure we don't come as superior as we think we are. Perhaps a new pet to replace the one you killed. What did you kill exactly?
Visha will go into her bag. She's cleaned up a bit before sitting down, but she will go into her bag and she will start pulling out fruit that she took from the brunch and is like arranging it on her plate and starts to munch. Just another thing for Cersei to realize, like, it's not just when Visha's drunk that she has sticky fingers.
She says nothing, but she sees it, and she just smiles a little.
As for what's to come with the wild hunt, and perhaps this will go hand in hand with it, perhaps searching for ruins or tales. Dragons are some of the oldest creatures we have, along with higher vampires, along with the elves. Perhaps exploring those who match its time span would glean some information on it. I would imagine they were exposed to it a lot more than any of us were.
Certainly. Are there, perhaps it's ignorant for me to say, but do we know of any other dragons that are around still? Or is it just the one?
Can I think of any, perhaps word of mouth, Witcher tales, possibilities? This I heard of this Witcher of Crane that supposedly...
Let's call this empathy charisma.
Y'all, you son of a...
You know that this man has none of that. I was thinking dragons would be monster lore, but I guess the fuck not.
Monster lore,
Looking
Norton,
through, discussing
tactics.
the having conversations with people about rumors and things is a little bit different than monster lore.
Could I help? Is this something that I could roll? Because Luna knows that Geralt ran into a dragon with Yennefer, would Yennefer have told Cersei this tale?
You've been out of commission, out of contact, aside from like very pressing matters from the Lodge of Sorceresses for some time. So I'll allow you a roll of your own.
I'm gonna spend 3 luck.
Okay.
Oh, is it also empathy charisma for me?
I'm gonna call this for you discussing these things with having possibly discussed these things with fellow mages. I'm gonna call this intelligence social etiquette or empathy persuasion.
Now, just to argue,
Oh, they're the same.
right? Just to argue, because you said a good thing, right? Talking to other mages, right? Per se, talking to other witchers, right, is always more of a teaching moment rather than an actual conversation. Despite these last 2 witchers that I've come across, right, the vast majority aren't conversationalists unless they're teaching or bravado, right?
And
So
there are indeed precious few witchers left in the world, and they are difficult to find, Yoka. Whereas the Lodge of Sorceresses have a base standing point in Aretusa. And you've been busy these past 10 months.
I'm 82. 14
Not terrible.
17.
with 3
17.
luck. Hold on, no, 13. My bad, because I spent 3 luck. 13.
13 and 17. For both of you, the answer is the same. No, you don't know of any other dragon. Now, there are rumors that Yennefer maybe encountered one. There's whispers that she encountered a great beast, but no confirmation of another live dragon, and as well, no. Even if the rumors would be true, where would you find it?
One more thing, if you allow,
By all means.
because alternatively, talking isn't Nyoka's fine point. But given the School of the Viper and their mission, and they had a vast library of information prior to the destruction of their school. Would I have perhaps come across tombs or tales of not necessarily where dragons are, but tales of destruction of where they possibly could have been, like matching up, dragons do this, that there were tales of this in this area, maybe it matches up. And maybe if we find that needle in the haystack, maybe.
I would allow you a roll of Witcher training.
While that's happening, Cersei, shaking her head, not knowing the answer to Nyoka's inquiry, will say, "Does this tower have a megascope or a Xenovox?"
Would it? I imagine it would, but
A megascope, almost surely.
okay. Yeah, a megascope. Yes.
Well, perhaps I can contact the lodge and see if they know anything.
The lodge.
My sister's in Aretusa.
Oh. Oh, right. You all commune together. In doing so, that would not, they wouldn't know where you're calling from, would they?
I'm reading the Megascope wiki right now.
You wouldn't know. It's not knowledge
Uh,
that would. It's not knowledge that you would have of how truly a megascope works.
Well, I've never used one, but I've seen it used, but I don't know.
I don't know, but it wouldn't cause any concern that a mage within Cadfan of Ebbing's Tower was calling, and it's not Cadfan, right?
Well, I suppose that is something to consider. Just offering my resources.
Yes, no, and I am grateful. I just, look, Cadfan was a piece of shit, and I don't think he had too many fans, but I do think that the the properly trained mages might have a problem with him being dead. I don't. He never told me if there were like rules to killing other mages.
I don't want to take up too much time, but I would like to ask if that's etiquette that I would know.
Generally, it's frowned upon. It's not like a code thing, but it's killing.
Yeah,
There would have to be like a
noted.
reason for it. I mean, there was a war that was fought, and there was a betrayal at RO2s where mages fought mages. It's not a uncommon thing. It's just, hey, why?
Yeah?
I like you, Cersei. I think you're a good person. I don't really trust other mages.
Well, that's smart. However, I do trust those there I studied with, so if that need arises or the want is there, then I can figure out how to use your megascope, but not without your permission. It is your property after all.
Right, I guess if it comes to that, then figure it out when we get there. But hey, Kura, did you figure out the thing you fucking killed to piss off a dragon?
Yes, I do remember now.
Mm.
So what it said was that it was its pet. It was a werewolf that was terrorizing a town. It was its little doggy.
Okay, right.
And
Even
introduces.
specific words was that I was the replacement pet.
Hmm.
Well, it can't have you, so there's that. No, that would put the town at risk. We're
That
fucked.
is a moral conundrum.
A moral, which part?
Well, one, we would need a werewolf. Oftentimes, werewolves are cursed individuals. So, instead of trying to break the curse, we would either be cursing someone or taking someone who's already cursed and not helping them. So,
Does it have to be a werewolf? I mean, obviously, it likes the being a canine of sorts, but I mean, could it?
I'm sorry.
Does it
Are
have to be
we
a sentient?
are we taking off the table of speaking to the nobles? Have we abandoned that at all, or is there a?
No, it's not been-
Well, it's not off the table, but I think right now interacting with nobles might not be the best, seeing as we just killed one.
You fucking what?
He was a piece of shit, so it
They
doesn't
don't-
matter. He was He was threatening that boy you were flirting with, Oliver. He was. They were trying to hold him captive.
I left for half a day.
Yes, well.
That word is not going to have spread this quickly if we hurry, because we're going all the way to Psalm. That's our best bet from the research that we did.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps a troll.
Still recruiting assistance, but any creature we give it to replace is still going to be a menace to the town.
I want to visit again. A troll?
I don't know about troll. But I will say, from a matter of werewolves, they shift, right? They're not just stuck in that canine form, or are they stuck in the canine form?
Witchers.
It depends on the curse, but oftentimes it's it's a transformation.
So perhaps it liked it for its ability for conversation. And if we curse someone, we can always curse someone who's a piece of shit. No harm, no foul.
See, the problem with that is you're now giving that piece of shit access to a lot of power.
Right,
which was
right.
the issue with the werewolf at hand, because it was just killing because it enjoyed it.
Right,
Which is
right,
why I
that's
didn't
right.
save it instead of killing it.
Okay. What?
Can I consult my book of tales that I have brought? It just adds a bonus to monster lore, but I figure it could help with facilitate a roll. I don't know.
What to determine what?
Specifically how to bargain with a dragon.
Sure, by all means.
I give it to Nyoka.
You pass it over like.
I'm not rolling it.
That's fair. What he says a monster lore.
It gives. Oh my god! I think it's like a +2 to monster lore.
Now the question would be: does that mean I have to use monster lore, or would I be able to substitute it?
So with your Witcher training, it says any point. Specifically with Witcher training skill, anytime you would use monster lore, you would use that instead. I'll go ahead and grant you this since you're referencing this book, and it's a +1. I'll go ahead and grant you this since you're referencing it as well as using your Witcher training. So by all means.
So I can't use my Witcher training.
Yes.
Okay. You're mighty gracious today. Thank you. Is 24.
And how to bargain. What's the best way to bargain with dragons in general?
Or y'all are the monster experts. I just threw something out there.
What is the best way to bargain with dragons? Period.
Sure.
Or, well, I don't think.
By all means, you're the one making the roll. By all means, you determine what you want to do.
Okay, hear me out. Because I kind of want to make it broader and say what's the best way to deal with dragons. But then Ramos could come out with some bullshit and say run. You know. So I'll keep it. What's the best way to bargain with a dragon?
And the results of your roll, one more time.
24.
24. Dragons in general are mythic creatures, difficult things to really put a pin on. But they're ancient, they're powerful, they're known to be, most of them are known to be talkative. They are, at least in stories, prideful creatures. And as previously discussed, we know that black dragons in particular are quite lazy.
How that told us nothing new.
It's almost like you guys have researched this already.
Okay, right. So guess what? We're fucked. Either we fucking bring him a werewolf and say, "Here, it's a fucking replacement," or we beg it not to take care of, or
Well, then,
we give it another option, another thing to hunt. They're lazy, or as rumor dictates, they're lazy creatures. But if you give it something worth fighting for, perhaps that's an angle to take. I believe there are also rumors of dragons being territorial. Can't keep a home if the wild hunt comes and takes it.
so you're
You
proposing.
want a dragon against the wild hunt?
Yes.
That is bold.
Perhaps it'll respect it. Listen, I'm not someone who's in the mind or the capability to beg. It's not really in my nature. So I think it'll be able to suss out a lie if I go up to it. Oh, great dragon. But if I come to it honest and true and real and propose this, perhaps it will respect that.
I thought we were gathering armies. I thought we were going to talk to nobles and gather support. Fuck honest and true. Let's kill the thing with a ballista.
But if it's our one, you got to think bigger picture.
What bigger picture is there than a black dragon on wings blotting out the sky to come kill your sister? What bigger picture?
Is that we're in Nilfgaard territory. A black dragon can be interpreted as a symbol of their might. He's going to war with the North, and a dragon is probably the last of his worries, especially if his interest is in a witcher that he already wants dead.
Well, then, if we're going to try to reason with it, I would like to pause it again, and I was pretty quickly shut down last time I brought this up, but with new host, then a new guest, I would like to pause it again. We visit Gwyson Hall, or the Imperial Magic Academy, and we inquire to them any knowledge that they might have on the subject, or perhaps they could spare a few mages that would help us in our endeavors. Or maybe even they could whisper in the ears of the lords and ladies that we seek out.
Well, things have changed now. We've got Cersei, so that's a little more plausible than it was before. I'm not... Listen. And you can all see, Visha does not want to say these words, but she does, and she says, I'm not good with the politicking and the bullshit that the nobles do. It's not my thing. I don't trust them.
Yes, but
these
Gwyson Hall and the Imperial Magic Academy are mages. I think that the two of you might find some kinship.
Do you know what mages think of coloured mages? Of ones that didn't go get an education?
Well, from what I understand, collared mages are sort of an uncommon practice in some of the academies as well, at least in Nilfgaard.
I will set aside my pride to speak with other mages. But do not be surprised if they don't help, because I'm not one of them.
I would also hope I wouldn't be conscripted living in Nilfgaard.
That's another thing. Fucking Nilfgaard. One king wants to kill all the witchers, the other wants to take all the mages. It's not looking great.
Perhaps this is the best route. But I will say, Visha, I do like your line of thinking. If perhaps we could convince this dragon of the impending doom of the wild hunt, one plaything being taken away compared to his entire home being taken away. Perhaps that is enough to entice its attention somewhere else. And if they're as lazy as they say, I'm sure it wouldn't mind waiting for it.
I like that line of thinking as well. That does leave the question, though, then. What next?
It's like we're going to Glycine Hall, was it?
Or the Imperial Magic Academy. There are two separate academies. One is in Vicovaro, and the other is in, I believe, Loch Grim is the name of the city. So really, it's Glycine Hall is a bit separated from the Empire's official military as it stands currently. So, if you would like to go to Glycine Hall first, or own the Glycine Hall, or we could. I was under the impression we were acquiring the services of Miss Aveling to speak with the nobles themselves. That's not entirely off the table. Then we could still do that. And there's still I found a number of things leading that Catvan had dealings in Claremont as well. I believe he had a home there. So perhaps you could lean into. Don't look like that. You could lean into the fact that you are now the proprietor, the heir. He stops. Well, right.
Walk. All right. Let's go to fucking Glycine Hall first. See what they'll tell us, if they'll help us. And because, forgive me, Cersei, mages like me are not looked upon favorably. Having Cersei will be useful. I am concerned about these whisperings that I hear. One, with how witches are essentially being hunted, and, well, mages aren't exactly doing great themselves.
Well, the mages in Nilfgaard are, so long as you have a formal education, they don't really look at you with side eye, and kind of stops himself again. But as far as the witches go, there's only a broad sort of decree that they should be brought in, and most nobles have sought to relatively ignore that, from what I understand. I mean, how often does a witcher come into town? You know what I mean?
Mm. Yes.
And if we need to exchange services to perhaps get a noble to vouch for us, well, not for us looking to Kura and I, but then we could easily do that as well.
More chains. But it seems that's our only options. So, fine.
I think that a good night's sleep could do us as well. You all seem quite on edge, and I was unaware that there was murder that took place, so I can take care of cleanup.
Well, the fucker deserved it, and I already buried the bodies. And Visha will get up and just, like, toss whatever was on her plate into refuse and throw the plate in there. And she essentially, like, not grumbling, but, like, that's the vibe. She kind of stomps out of the room and ends up going to the library, where she likely will fall asleep with her face in a book.
Understood.
Don't worry about that. I'll talk to her later.
She's just very touchy about the whole formal education thing, and I know that the coloring isn't an uncommon practice if you have a regular master. You can attest to that, right, Miss Eveline, that I'm sure R2s still has practitioners of the tradition.
And in my time, any time that was brought up, it was quickly shot down by my mentor.
Lovely. All right, I don't have a leg to stand on then. Don't tell her that, please.
See.
The salmon was good.
But you made a good point. So.
Thank you. But I'll take care of the cleanup if you'd like to go to rest. I still have some things I'd like to look into. This house in Claremont is a new discovery, so I'd like to see how much time he went there and what exactly he got up to before anyone sets foot.
Definitely don't go there by yourself.
I wouldn't fucking dream to. You've seen some of the things we pulled out of this place. Imagine his personal home where he laid his head at night.
Exactly.
Cersei, do you mind if I borrow this book?
No, of course.
Thank you.
Please take all the time you need with it.
I will go into the library as well with the book and begin to read it for any other information. Not necessarily on dragons, but just in general what the book has.
Understood.
Cersei will help clean up at least her mess, kind of awkwardly. Not really knowing what to say to Ezreal. That's still a really weird, I don't even call it a relationship yet.
It's dynamic.
Yes. But she's polite. She says thank you for the meal. It was lovely.
You feel it on his end as well. It's a strange situation to find himself in. The last time you all really had an interaction, he was captive. You were making vague threats.
Yes. So with that, she will politely nod and abscond from the dining room. And she'll wander, and I imagine she'll also wander into the library.
Correct.
Before Cersei leaves, I just wanted to say thank you for agreeing to join us and help us with this issue.
Well, of course. I mean, I can't claim that it was totally selfless. Originally, we were going to speak with the nobles of Nilfgaard, and with what I'm hearing in the north, I just wanted... I was also going to speak of my own family's safety, but I'm here now, and I am of service.
Well, that's still a very high chance that we'll get to go and talk to them too. But thank you again, nonetheless.
Of course. I'm sorry that there was so much trouble today. It isn't usually like that.
Well, that was trouble that we brought to your doorstep, so...
I would say, especially given that I remember now this edict is largely ignored, so it's more trouble that was brought on by someone who's way in over his head. Regardless, though, I'm happy to be here.
I'll do everything I can to make sure you feel at home. Yes.
I
And then
appreciate
Kuro's gonna
it.
just leave on that.
Yeah.
As you all find your way to your various nightly activities, this is where we're going to take our break. We'll see you all very shortly. People linked in destiny will always find each other.
Tell me, what shall I teach
You of monsters.
How could we know who the real monsters are? How does one know if they are one?
Monsters are more than just horrid looks and claws and teeth. Monsters are born of deeds done, unforgivable ones.
We fight the monsters so that others can know peace. Peace that we will never know.
So you ready to kill monsters, huh? The question you should ask yourself is, are you willing to become one?
And welcome back. We continue where we left off. Now, those of you who have seen Ways of Old, those of you who have seen Lost Days, and those of you who have seen really any story I run in, I really enjoy this next part. So you might remember this little song and dance. As you all crest into sleep, we visit each of you one by one. And first, we find you, Risha. As you said, you fall asleep with a book in your hand in the library. Do you think you know what book? Or is it just a tome you've picked up?
He is studying places of power. And so she has taken one of Cadvan's tomes that discuss this matter.
Indeed. It's not necessarily easy to find, but the closest thing you can find is in Gamara. Tower of the Winds is an ancient elven tor that has been turned into a prison. It's not terribly far from here. You could make your way. You could dive into it and see what it could offer you in terms of raw chaos. As you drift into sleep, you dream. You dream of the events to come, how you think they might play out. Can't say to you that this is a vision, because the future is fluid. You dream of power, seeking it out, alongside another mage, someone who could help you, someone who could help you grow, someone who encourages you rather than stifles you like Cadvan did. Last we saw you, Risha died at yours and your sister's hand. There are wounds left still. And there are his words that echo in your dreams. You aren't ready. You simply are not powerful enough. I will release you. The time is right. It's this voice that haunts your dreams. It melds and molds, changes. Do you have any response, Visha? The Cadvan of your nightmares.
I don't know that she says anything. To him. I think to herself she says, yet. I'm not powerful enough yet. She knows that if she gets to this tower, she will be. And I think there is a part of her, a small kernel of doubt and insecurity that says, what if he's right? I can't afford him to be right.
Indeed, you can't. Something looms behind you in this nightmare. Not sure what it is. When you turn, could be Catfan, could be this dragon, could be something worse. Turn and you meet its eyes, and you're awake. We'll get back to you very shortly. Cersei, when you went to the library, you had seen Visha nose in a book. Do you fall asleep here as well, or do you find yourself back in your chamber when you do finally rest?
Cersei went to potentially speak to Visha, but seeing Visha's demeanor, decided to give her her space and retired to her chambers for the evening.
Indeed. When you sleep on this comfortable bed, it's perhaps a bit too big, a bit too empty. Your dreams are memories. Recent. Slow, as you bring the knife down into this man's throat. As you stifle his last cries. Whatever pleading or bargaining that were to leave his lips, gargled now through the opening, filling with blood, spouting from his throat. Perched over his chest, carving into him like a butcher, like a murderer. And suddenly you're not there. Suddenly you're a little girl all over again. And now you're not kneeling on a man's chest, you're kneeling on the floor as spirits flit around you and destroy your home. Bombard your parents. And threaten to ruin everything in your life. Nobles, lords, and ladies. Interesting that they constantly throw themselves in and out of your life. When this whole affair was done, there were whispers of the witch, the young witch. And the danger she could offer her home. Bruges was not kind. The Lord offered his assistance, your parents. You don't know if they ever looked at you quite the same. Maybe, just maybe, there was a sigh of relief when Aurelia came for you. Because you're dangerous, Cersei. Maybe you should have been collared. There's this whisper, soothing, calming, comforting. No. A collar for you. It changes to Aurelia's voice now. But just focus, a teacher, someone to guide your hand. Someone that could help you. someone who could guide you. Call upon me, or I'll find another who will. Now, and you awaken. We'll get back to you as well very shortly. Kura, you made your way back to your own sleeping arrangements, correct?
Yeah, I probably would have went to the library first to talk with Visha and try to calm her down, but seeing that she's calming herself by studying, I would have made my way back to my own room. Our room.
Indeed. You rest your head to sleep. There are the dreams that come, these memories. Fresh, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. A new witcher on the path. You fought monsters. People smiled at your coming. Even after the suspicions, a warm smile. Your heart was bare. You were quickly able to turn people to your side. Monsters. Creatures. Simple things. One of the first hunts. One of the first big hunts you went on was for a werewolf here in Nilfgaard. Down here near Ebbing. You pursued him. And he had no empathy. He had no sorrow for what he did. He was for all intents and purposes, a serial killer. And when you finally found him, he laughed. He laughed at your heart, your pleading, your urging. He just had to stop. That he could change. Anything that you threw at him that was different, he liked the way he was. And you'd just be another trophy. And so you had to kill him. Then something greater came for you. Chased you out, calling you its favorite pet now. You're the replacement. Its favorite plaything. It will hunt you. Will find you. It may catch and release you. And God forbid it finds out there's two of you. Looms, Kura. This unfinished business. This is your task. It's been so long. There's words that spring forward, to offer a new doubt. I thought after hours of training, you'd be better than that. What happened back there? It's unacceptable. That's how you'll die, Gura. Those were just men. But you want power. You want to be better. You have support for that. It's a voice that whispers in your ear. Magic. could have been your path. Much like your sister. I can show you magic that doesn't require the changes. It would take precious little. Go to your sister now. She'll have the answers like she always does. Go now. Go! You awaken. We'll get to you very shortly. Yoka, you lie down to sleep. You rest. Are you in your chambers when you do this?
My chamber commonly is the library and a chair.
Do this. Much like Visha, you fall asleep reading on dragons. Your nightmares are similar. You remember them well. The riders. The skeletal armored elves. The wild hunt. But passenger to you is another watching this play. Is this what you fear? Is this what you are so worried about? What you want to save this continent from? Well, how are you going to do it? With my arm? With my hand? Do you answer?
With it or without it.
You're going to fall. Every rest you take. Every dream. It's my power. And eventually, you're going to slip. You think because you had help? You think because you finally aren't alone? Did you stand a chance against them? I'll make you a deal, Witcher. Give in. I'll fight your wild hunt. I'll do it. I'll win. Go on. Let me take you.
There's only one way this job is done correctly. And that's with me in control.
You'll not be able to maintain it. While you sleep, I could be doing anything. I could be strangling her right now. Can you feel it? Her colored throat in my hand. Can you feel her last breath? Squeeze. Now. And you awaken, Yoka. And for our two in the library, Yoko, you awaken. And Visha, you had awoken moments before. Looking, searching. All of the books that you had strewn out onto the table are now put away on shelves. Even the one you had originally opened. Even the one that was in Yoka's hands. This room is put together incredibly well. Now, tomes don't have titles on the spines, especially not magical or historical tomes these days. There are ways to tell, there are markings, and some might have titles on the spines, but you look at the bookcases and the shelves. It's organized. Well organized. It would have taken hours. There's one book out. Open. And scrawled in black ink on this page. Along with a description, continues. This is what Nyoka, you find when you awaken. You find Visha reading from this book, eyes furrowed. Cascalid. In Visha it says, Cascalids are demons of knowledge, who primarily prey on academics, mages, and scholars, whose hunger for knowledge drives them to Goetia. They're not created from obsessed scholars. A Cascalid lives in the shadows and can make portals through these shadows to travel. This teleportation, combined with Cascalid's aversion to combat, makes killing them incredibly difficult. Nyoka, your hand is your own. You've dug your nails into the side of the chair. But there's Visha, untouched.
I think Visha is almost deaf to the world around her. And she is looking at this book, her brow furrowed. And I think even her eyes don't look like her own. Normally they're that mismatched green and gold. But I think there's almost like a dark shadow over them as she has her hand sort of on the pages. She is incredibly tempted to keep reading.
And while the two of you have this moment, cut back over to you, Kura. You awaken in yours and your sister's chamber. The room is clean. Incredibly so. Books and papers that lie on personal shelves are stacked and put away carefully. Someone's been in the room. Someone has cleaned. Gone are the wine stains and the fluid. Even the bed is relatively made with you in it. There's a single candle lit at the end table. And a single, almost a journal, written. Not in Cadfan's hand, not in yours or your sister's, or even the scrawl that you've seen Nyoka use. Do you reach for it?
Yeah.
You read. You go on. It's an accounting. Correct. It's a brief interaction. The last page is the last entry. This crumpled bit that has been added to this woven notebook. It says, I have it. The name. The name is key. it holds power, as our ancestors before us believed. I can summon it. I can summon it and make things right again. I can summon it and make things right again. This is a journal, an accounting of an uncontrolled summoning. Something terrible. Cersei, you awaken. The start. You are within your chamber. And there's a cold, cold emptiness. This place has been made up before you. This was already cleaned and squared away before, likely by Wizruld. But there's a distinct feeling that something was in here. Something was here. Now you instinctually look to your side, looking for Elodie, or comfort. You don't find her. You find a heavy tome, intricate, leather, and beautiful. Turn to a page. Turn to a name. Let's start with you, Cersei. What do you do?
As she turns, she can't help but open the book and just open it to any page. What is the first thing that she reads?
She's turning it to any page.
Yes.
Scrawled in a script that you don't recognize are instructions designating that you must choose a chief summoner to lead the chant. Have them stand forward, the rest of your group behind them in a semicircle. It instructs you to make a chalk circle on the ground before you to guide the creature to your ritual.
No. But then there's a pull to open it up again. A morbid curiosity. But instead, she'll get out of bed and go to the lockbox and make sure that book is still in its place.
Oh, I should be clear. It's not. The book that lied next to you is this book.
Oh. Great. My bad. I think she realizes that. She realizes you're waking up more. That is her grimoire. And she'll open it back up and she'll turn a few pages prior to what she had just read to see, essentially confirm her suspicion that more has been written in it without her knowledge, without her doing it.
Give me a roll of... I'm going to allow you to... what is the mage skill? It's magic training, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, give me a magic training roll.
Intelligence. 29.
It's as if pages are missing, Cersei. Doesn't seem any thicker or thinner, but it's as if you can feel it. Knowledge has been taken, maybe given to somewhere else. With that, we look away from you. Back to Nyoka and Visha in the library.
See, you cleaned up.
There is no response as she's looking at this book. And she turns a page to see what's on the other side. And I look under her. Okay. As that's happening, she's
reading, like in her head, sort of reading what's being written on the page. And almost in a whisper, Nyoka will hear her say, I can make it right. She's just saying that over and over again as she watches the pages fill.
Nyoka would start to get up and slowly approach and question, are you okay? Nothing strange happened, did it?
I think you see that she's locked into this position, and while her whole body is like focused on this book, if you were to sort of come around onto the side, you see her eyes are really wide and that she's shaking.
Yeah. Upon approaching, getting closer and seeing this happen, he would probably try to gain her attention, snapping, hey, are you good? Grabbing her hands, trying to make eye contact with her.
Before I answer that, I need to ask you a question, ST. Is she feeling like a pull towards this? Sort of similar to how she experienced in Cersei's manor.
No pull here. Just no supernatural pull that you feel. This is just this is you. Visha, this is knowledge. This is something that you crave. This is all you.
Yeah, I think when you grab her hands and eventually like try to gain eye contact with her, she'll look at you and her pupils are blown out and she almost has this like manic expression on her face. And she grabs you back and she says, I can make it right, Nyoka. I can fix all of it. I can fix your hand. I can make it not talk to you in your sleep anymore. I hear you at night when you're having your nightmares. I can fix it. It's all right here.
What is this? What's going on? What is this?
It's knowledge. It's power. I need power. He was right. I'm not strong enough. I can't fix it all. But with this is knowledge. This is everything I would need. Power I would need to fix everything. I could fix your arm. I could fix the wild hunt.
Let's take a moment. I don't know what. There's something weird happening right now.
Nyoka, do you look at the book?
Yeah, I would look at the book as she's referring to it.
Visha, as your as well. Imagine glancing back at the book as well. Nyoka, the moment your eyes lay on it, the ink recedes, as if someone hitting the backspace key on a Word document begins to recede, pulled away, erased.
Visha starts freaking out. She detaches herself from Visha or from Nyoka and grabs the book and is just like, no, I need it back. I need it back. Go away. And she's like trying to shove Nyoka away from her as she's like desperately looking at this book, trying to make the words come back.
And while this goes on in conjunction, Cersei returned. The weight fills once more, as if pouring water into a jug. You can feel it heavier once again. The same page when you turned. Ink refills, but it doesn't turn to words. This is an illustration, and it fills itself out and begins to draw. Now, Kura, where are you with your journal, this new thing
Uh, did I manage to read the whole thing, or was that just me skimming it earlier?
It's you looking through it and trying to read it. And as you continue to try to read it, again, the same issue. The ink begins to recede, pull away from you. It begins to withdraw.
Visha has the answers, and I would start running to the library.
You do this. And Cersei, you hear footsteps running toward the library.
Cersei will. All she can think to do with this is to lock the book back up. Did I hear the commotion in the library? Did it travel up?
With how this chamber and how the with how things are now, I would certainly say so. The room, the sound has a chance to echo in certain empty chambers or certain chambers that have been kind of stripped bare, as well, moving around the hall and such. Library is not too far from here either, so I would say so. But one of the things I have to ask you is, do you wait for the illustration to be complete? Or do you go now?
I think she wants to, but after the burning in her mind from just the name, she'll slam the book shut, lock it back up, and putting the pieces together after hearing I can fix it and then no, I need it, as the ink is filling the page back up. She'll bring the entire lockbox down with her and is ready to have a conversation.
The last thing you see is the illustration is not complete. From the head down to the shoulders, it's a drawing in black ink and gray shaded charcoal. A withered face, sunken cheeks and hollow eyes, but with a wide smile, rotted teeth, staring up as the ink continues down. The top of the chest, there are no torl, there is no nipple, there is no skin. Is a void, and you close the book before it is complete. You run to the library. The smiling face closed.
Visha is losing it. The blank pages seem to just enrage her further, and she fully throws the book and just starts picking up books and scrolls and throwing them and screaming. I think at this point it's almost unintelligible. There's no real words coming out of her mouth. She's just full of rage. And for flavor, ST, I think that there is like a crackling in the air of her magic, just barely contained in her form, wanting to shred everything in here because she's so upset.
This is the scene you come across. Kura, Cersei, Nyoka, what are you doing when the other two arrive?
As soon as Visha would have tossed the book to the side, I would have went to retrieve it, not knowing if the book was the cause of this or what it was. But he's probably standing there right next to Visha, trying to understand what's going on, book in hand, attempting to understand Visha.
I don't know. She just looks crazed and upset, and she's like simultaneously trying to shove you away and cling to like your shirt. And you can feel her nails like digging into your skin, and she is. You start to hear within all the screaming. You start to hear the insecurity, the doubt, the depth of her worry for her sister, her talking about your arm, the effects it's going to have on you.
this fucking dragon, like all these things, the wild hunt. It's like garbled mess of just things that she is like, I need to fix it all. I'm not strong enough. And then I think there is a point where, like, ragged breath, you see that she's crying.
Coming in on the panic as it begins to subside to tears, Kura would completely forget the journal in this moment and go to Visha and just grab her and try to hug her.
She is trembling like a leaf.
Cersei enters the library, and she's really putting the pieces together. And she doesn't, for the first time, she doesn't look overtly kind or serene. She doesn't look scared like she was in the bedroom. She goes over to a table with a clearing on it and sets the lockbox down just loud enough to be heard.
And I'll turn to the noise of the box being placed.
I need to speak with you all.
I would look to Cersei, but I wouldn't say anything. And Visha, as I'm holding you, you could feel Kura's muscles just tensing, contracting as she's worked up. You can feel it in her heart rate.
She's still holding on to her sister, feeling all that. And she looks at Cersei. You know.
I know now.
You have it. The thing that could fix it.
Fix it.
Yes. The
And what
knowledge.
This is what we need to conversate about. What is in this box will not fix anything. What is in this box is seeking to be summoned, to control, and then to destroy. What is in this box is something I've had in my possession, and only recently has it started to act, to have effects, outwardly effects like this. I don't know why. I don't know what's happening to it. But I know it is incredibly dangerous.
Are you talking a curse of some sort?
Worse.
I don't understand.
This notebook, it was a journal of somebody saying how they could fix it, and I would look to Visha. It's empty now. I don't understand.
I'll raise the book that Visha previously had and say the words were disappearing as I tried to look.
Yes.
But
and
it definitely spoke to Visha.
yes. When I awoke, this was next to me. And the words were gone. And then appeared. That was when I heard commotion. And that was when I knew something's playing with us.
What is it?
A specter.
You can tell she's kind of clenching her jaw, licking her teeth. She doesn't want to say it. But then she says, Oisha, demons.
As you say this, we count 1, 2, 3, 4. Wonder who the first to realize that Westworld is not present.
Where's Westworld? Westworld? And she will, like, get from the position that she's in and, frankly, in a panic now that demons have been mentioned, start looking for him. You can hear her calling his name.
I'll follow and
I would follow.
search.
Cersei casts summon staff.
Do this. You all run toward Westworld's room. You run to a locked door.
Does he normally lock his door?
No.
Visha immediately says, something's wrong.
Kick it in.
Are you gonna kick it in?
Yeah, I'm kicking it in.
Okay.
Sorry if
I
that
would
sounded
help
like
you
a
up in a
question,
heartbeat.
but
No, it sounded like you were telling her to kick it in, and as much as I would like to, she does not have the ability to do so.
these thighs of thunder are made for power.
Go ahead and give me a reflex brawling, Yoka.
I think Visha is calling out for Resworld and is saying to him, like, essentially, like, are you in there? We're coming. You know, like, just trying to get a response from within the room in hopes that he is alive.
27.
27. Kick in the door. One thing that is consistent with Westworld, though, so there is always a light. He keeps his room well lit, even when sleeping. It is pitch black. As you kick open the door, the light spills in. Shadows almost recede from it. And there is a figure standing, facing the opening of the door. Humanoid, smiling. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all so much for watching. We will catch you guys next time for our Witcher campaign continued. See you guys then. Same time, same place. Same haunted heroes. We'll see you then.